And we are live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the stream tonight. It is going to be a fun one. We're doing our NHL team tier list. It's going to be very interactive. Everything will be based on your votes. And it's going to be an awesome time here tonight as we start getting back into the swing of things with streaming and everything NHL and everything hockey, as we are starting to get closer to hockey season. It's almost September. Preseason games will be going in about a month from now. Training camp's a little bit earlier. And we're 6-ish weeks away from the start of the regular season or so. So it's getting closer to hockey, and it makes it a lot of fun here. This is going to be a fun stream. And I appreciate everybody coming by. It's good to see you all in the chat again. I haven't streamed in quite a while, so it's nice to see everybody. We got Van, we got Nathan, we got Logan, Daredevil, Austin, Andrew, Red Rubber. What is going on, everybody? Daredevil, awesome to have you as always. Austin, summer's going pretty well. How are you? Reaper, what's going on? Welcome in. Andrew, thanks for being here. Logan, hey, I'm doing much better today than yesterday. Thank you for coming by. Hey, Red Rubber, 4 months as a member on the channel. Thank you, man. He's got a new profile pic for this season. Welcome in, Red Rubber. Thank you so much for being here, as always. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to kind of get in, because I don't want to start the voting and stuff without, having people here to vote. So I'm going to give everybody a few minutes here to kind of work their way into the chat and into the stream. And then we're going to get into it. I'm going to be using straw poll. So I'm just going to use, I'm just going to drop a link in the chat, and it will take you guys to a straw poll that everyone will have a chance to vote in. And then that will be how we determine which tier each team goes in. So we're going to go through all 32 teams, team by team, and you guys get to vote which tier you think they belong in. And here's a look at those tiers. So we just switched it up here. And the 5 different categories that we have are cup favorite. These are the elite of the elite, the teams that should be getting bets placed on them to win the cup this coming season. Cup contender, they're a team that's capable of winning the cup, but may not be in that favorite category right now. Maybe not one of the top 3 teams or something like that, but they're still a contender to go on a run and possibly win it. Playoff team is a team that's probably going to make the playoffs, but not quite at that level of being a real cup contender, like probably a first-round exit, second-round exit, someone like that. Playoff line is just for those bubble teams that, may make the playoffs, may not, right on that line of whether they get in or not. And then non-playoff teams are teams that we're pretty sure are not going to make the playoffs this coming season. And really don't have much of a shot even before it begins. So there's probably not a lot of teams in that category, but there definitely are some, given how this offseason's gone. Hey, Daredevil, it's great to have you back. Thank you for being here. Exotic, what's going on? Welcome in. Matthew, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yes, I'll be doing some of the preseason games, Austin. Yeah, once games actually get back going, I will definitely be streaming games again pretty quickly. So I'll be doing some preseason games. I might even be doing some rookie tournament games as well, because a lot of teams play in these prospect tournaments mid-September before this actual training camp really starts. So I'm probably going to do some of those games as well if I can. Yeah, McTavish had an unreal World Juniors, Reaper. I mean, he absolutely lit it up for Canada. Definitely think he's making the Ducks this season, and probably going to play a pretty prominent role on that team right away. Yes, Daredevil. Ottawa had an awesome offseason. I think they're a team that might be getting into that, I would probably have them playoff line. I don't know for sure that they could. I think they could be a playoff team. I don't know if they're going to be. They might be still a year away, but they're they're not going to be, drafting in the top 5 next year. That's for sure. They're going to be a lot closer to a playoff spot than what they've been the last couple of seasons. Shawnee, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Hey, Nick, what's going on? We got Twisted Wrister on the stream. Thank you so much for coming in, man. Really, really appreciate it. I just dropped a video with Nick from Twisted Wrister Hockey, guys. So if you haven't checked that out after the stream, give it a watch. We talked about the Sharks off-season. He's a Sharks fan, so we did the off-season discussion, and that was a really fun video. Obviously, anytime I get to talk hockey with Nick, it's great. So check that out, guys. Show him some support. Red Rubber, yeah, I feel pretty good about the Penguins as well. I think, they're going to be your typical Penguins, I think, this coming season. Hey, THG, what's going on? Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. I think Ottawa's defense is going to be fine. They're getting Jake Sanderson now. Like, Sanderson is going to be a top 4 guy, maybe even a top pair guy right out of the gate. So I'm not really, Ottawa's still, if there was a place that I would add if I was a Senators, it would be a defenseman. It would be one more top 4 defenseman, but I don't think that's going to be a glaring issue for them, and their offense is going to score so much that they could very easily snag a wild card spot in the East. But the problem is, so could Detroit, because Detroit's gotten a lot better too. So that both of those teams are going to win a lot more games this season than they won last year. Let's see. Terry, what's going on? Welcome in. I wouldn't put them personally as a favorite. I would have them in the contender category, but I wouldn't have them in a favorite. But that's just me. We'll see how everybody decides to vote when we get into it here. But Rangers are going to be, definitely very good again. This team should continue to get better. Hey, there you go, Daredevil. That's awesome. Rangers Exotic are in a good spot. They're definitely a contender to me. What have I been doing this summer? I've been working. I've gone on a few trips. I've been hanging out with my friends when I get the chance. It's been a pretty good summer so far. Yeah, Red Rubber, the Tankley Cup playoffs. Yeah, to get on the non-playoff list, you're like way out of it as far as playoffs are concerned. Yeah, the news with Carey Price is not good. It looks like his career may be over, unfortunately. The update from Hughes, the GM, was not good about Carey Price's knee. So there's definitely starting to feel like there's a good chance he might retire for sure. He might not be able to play again with that knee. Green Cam, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Jay, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Good to have you here. I think the Bruins have a chance to be a playoff team. I mean, the Atlantic Division is absolutely stacked right now. But I think the Bruins could make the playoffs, but I don't see them winning a cup. Not unless they make... they'd have to have a ridiculous year to actually win the cup. I think they probably make the playoffs and then probably get knocked out first round. Maybe second, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what else they decide to do as well. Leafs Addict, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, guys, please don't forget to hit that like button. Subscribe if you are new. I cover the entire NHL here, so fans of all teams are welcome and wanted on the channel. I got to get back into the flow of saying that. It's been a while since I've streamed, so I think we should probably get into it here. We've waited around about 10 minutes or so. We got 20 in the chat, so let's get into it here. Let's see, how do we want to start this? Let's start with the Pacific Division. we'll start with the Pacific and work our way east. So we'll go Pacific, Central, Metro, Atlantic. And we'll start with the Pacific here, starting with the Anaheim Ducks. So let me see. There we go. Anaheim on the board. Let me get the poll ready. Okay. Ducks. I didn't realize how long it was going to take me to write all these options down. I wish there was a way I could just like keep the options and just make a new poll with the same ones. I might actually be able to do that. Let me see. Okay. That looks good. I gotta share it now. Copy. All right, here we go. Link is in the chat. It's a straw poll. All you guys got to do is click on that link. It will take you to the straw poll, and you guys can get your votes in where you think the Anaheim Ducks rank as far as what tier they belong in for this upcoming season. And as the votes come in, I'll give you guys probably like a minute and a half to get your votes in, and then we'll get into we'll put them where they rank. So let's see what you guys are thinking. Shady Side, what's going on? Welcome in. I Don't Exist, welcome into the stream. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Yeah, Ducks, I mean, the Ducks are getting close to being really good. They've got a lot of young talent on that roster. I don't know if they're quite there yet, in my opinion, as far as making the playoffs, but they are definitely getting improved. THG, I would just consider that team, like, are they capable of making the playoffs? Like, there are some teams that we know are not going to be making the playoffs, like the Arizonas and Chicagos of the world. Playoff line is for those teams, like, they could get in, they might not. All right, I'll give you guys another little while here to let's see, how many votes do we have in? We've got 12 votes total. We got 21 or 20 in the chat. So if you guys want to, if you haven't voted yet and want to, get your votes in now. We've got 14 votes. Most of you guys are saying non-playoff. I still think they're a year or two away from actually getting into the postseason, but I do think that they're a team on the rise. Give you guys another 5 seconds or so. And yeah, that's gonna end it. It's really easy, Shady Side. All you have to do is click the link and then get your vote in. So yeah, you guys said non-playoff team for Anaheim, which I agree. I think Anaheim is, they're on the upswing for sure, but I don't think that they're a playoff team yet. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. So we can fit all the teams, and there we have it. Okay, so Anaheim, votes are in. Next up, the Calgary Flames. What a crazy offseason they have had. Hey, Pablo, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Calgary's up next. Okay, so I don't have to write out all the choices anymore. I can do it by just changing the title. All right, perfect. That will make this go a little bit quicker. Copy. Link in the chat for the Calgary poll is coming right now. So, let me know, where do you guys rank the Calgary Flames for this coming season? Cup favorite, cup contender, playoff team, playoff line, or non-playoff team? It was a wild offseason for Calgary, but they've actually come out on the other end of it, I think, in a decent spot. They've got Huberdeau now. They've got Uyghur added to the back end. They were able to sign Kadri. I mean, it was a roller coaster of an offseason for sure, but I think they came out okay on the end of it. Hey, Green Cam, I'm good. Excited for hockey, and can't wait for the season to get started. I appreciate you coming by tonight. Wow, all right, you guys are very heavy right now on playoff team. I'm surprised more votes aren't for cup contender, because I think they're going to be one of the top 3 teams in the Western Conference. But you guys are very heavy on playoff team right now. So about 60% of you. We've got 15 votes in. I'll give you guys another 5 seconds or so to get any last second votes in, and then we'll be placing the Flames. Yeah, Twisted Wrister, they've had a tumultuous offseason, but Huberdeau is going to put up big-time points that will basically replace Gaudreau. And then Uyghur is a massive upgrade on the back end. He's one of the best two-way D-men in the league. Flames are in a really good spot, despite the craziness. Let's see. Brandon, what's going on? Welcome in. Joey, welcome. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat. All right, we're closing the poll now. And playoff team. So you guys say playoff team for the Calgary Flames. I have them as a contender, but this is based on your votes. So playoff team there for Calgary. All right, next up, Calgary's arch nemesis, the Edmonton Oilers. So I will get the poll going here for Edmonton in a second. Let me just go back and get the team changed. All right. Here we go. Edmonton Oilers. They were a conference finalist in the Western Conference last year. I think the expectations are even higher for them this season now that they have Jack Campbell in goal. They really think they've got that. I'd really say they've got that goaltending situation figured out, or at least they think they've got the goaltending figured out with Campbell in net. This is a team that obviously has McDavid and Draisaitl, who are both going to put up 120 plus points most likely. We'll see with Edmonton. The Pacific Division, I think, is probably going to come down to Calgary or Edmonton. I think one of those two teams is going to win the Pacific this year. What's going on, Lucas? Going pretty well. How are you? Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, let's check in on the poll here, see how... Oh, wow, a lot of votes here. We've got our first cup contender votes right now. I think Edmonton and Calgary, one of those teams is going to win the Pacific, and you guys, 12 votes are in, but you guys are heavily voting Edmonton to be a cup contender next year. right, so we've got 12 votes in. I'll give you guys another few seconds if there are any last-minute votes that want to come in. 12 are in so far. If anyone who hasn't voted yet wants to, get it in now, and then we'll be placing the Oilers. Five or so more seconds. All right. Yeah, almost 75% of you said cup contender for Edmonton. Whoops, for Edmonton. So they go up there for now. Cup contender. Almost 75% of you have Edmonton as a cup contender. So obviously they made the conference finals last year, and there are high expectations for the Oilers heading into this season. All right, next on the list, we have the LA Kings. They were a bit of a surprise playoff team last season. People, weren't really sure if they were going to be ready or not last year. Now the expectation is that they are a playoff team, but we'll see if you guys believe that they will remain a playoff team this season. They definitely were a bit of a, definitely a surprise with how well they did last year, but I think now they're kind of expected to be that. So let's get that one up. I'm very interested to see where you guys think LA is at for sure. Like, are they as good as they were last season? Do they take a step back? Do they take a step forward? There's a lot of ways this could go for the Kings. Hey, Bobby, what is going on? Welcome in, man. Thank you so much for being here. 18 months as a member. Let's get that hype in the chat. Victoria, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for watching. Ben, what's up, bro? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. All right, we've got 14 votes in on LA already. Right now at just over 57%. The winner is playoff team, but I'm going to give you guys a little bit more time if you haven't voted yet. Hey, happy belated birthday, Victoria. I hope you had a good one. Hey, there we go, Ben. That sounds awesome. That sounds awesome. I'm glad that you're having a crazy summer. That sounds like a lot of fun. All right, see you later, Daredevil. Appreciate you being here. Thanks for watching. All right, I'll give another 5 seconds or so to get your LA Kings votes in, and this one, over 62% have LA as a playoff team. Okay, so playoff team is the ranking for the Kings. So you have them right there along with Calgary as a playoff team. Oh yeah, I'm definitely a little worried, no doubt about it, Bobby, no doubt about it. But we'll see how it goes. The division's going to be really tough, though. Samantha, what's going on? Welcome in. Thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Next up on our list here, we've got the San Jose Sharks. I just video with Twisted Wrister about the Sharks. Our offseason discussion just came out today. I have a pretty good feeling on where you guys are going to put the Sharks, but we've still got to do the voting. So I will get this ready to go, and then we'll get the votes in for San Jose. I'm getting faster at creating these polls, too, so that's good. Xanified, what's going on? Great to see you in the chat. Really appreciate it. Awesome to have you here. Evan, what's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you in the chat. Really appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. All right, poll is there. The link in the chat for the poll for your Sharks votes is right there. I think I know where this is going to go, but make sure that you guys get your votes in. We're placing the Sharks on the tier list, and yeah, this is an absolute runaway right now. Yeah. I mean, I don't even think I need to wait for all the votes to come in on this one. The non-playoff votes are flying in here for San Jose. Robert, what's going on? Welcome in. Thanks for being here. Really appreciate it. Awesome to have you in the chat. All right, I'll give another 5 seconds or so to get any last-minute votes in, but this one's already decided. Almost 80% of you have the San Jose Sharks as a non-playoff team. And I have to say that I agree. That's just where they're at right now. So we will put the Sharks down here. And next up is Seattle. So next on the list here is the Seattle Kraken. After this one, Samantha, I do not know. It probably will be it'll be sometime in September after this one. But I don't know for sure yet. All right, I gotta get the poll up here for Seattle now. So we will erase Sharks and put up Seattle Kraken. Now, Seattle's had an interesting offseason. They made 2 big additions up front with Oliver Bjorkstrand and Andre Burakovsky. So, you know, scoring was the biggest problem for them last year. And their scoring is certainly going to be a lot better this year. So we'll see if can Seattle make a push to that playoff line, or are they still not a playoff team? Let's see what you guys think. James, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Awesome to have you in the chat. Yeah, the team is changing with every poll, Shawnee. It's a different poll for every single team. All right, so let's see what you guys are going with. Wow, this one's actually really close. This one is actually really close. So this is important to get votes in, guys. We literally have a 50-50 split right now. This is an important one to get votes in because your vote definitely matters. Oh, boy. All right, we got 1 vote. Oh, and it's back to a 50-50. Oh, boy. 16 votes have been cast, and it is a 50-50 split here on Seattle. So any last-second votes, get them in, and I'm gonna stop the voting in a little bit here. Eddie, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better today for sure. Wilson, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. It's just a bunch of layered images, Wilson. Images and text just layered on top of each other and loaded into Streamlabs. All right. All right, that's it. Voting's closed by 1 vote. You guys have the Seattle Kraken by 1 vote as a non-playoff team. I'm gonna move. I'm not gonna rank them by like how close they were to the next tier or anything, because then I'll start moving stuff around all over the place. But by 1 vote, you guys have them as a non-playoff team. It was almost playoff line, but by 1 vote, you guys have Seattle not in the playoffs. All right, next up on the list, we have the Vancouver Canucks. This is going to be an interesting one. This is definitely going to be an interesting one. So I am going to get this one up, and I'm super interested to see what you guys do with this Canucks team, because I am so conflicted on Vancouver. Like, I think they have a good enough roster to be good, but they also just kind of always seem to underperform for some reason, with the exception of the bubble playoffs, which is where they kind of started to look good, but then went backwards again. So I don't know really what to do with Vancouver. So I'm very interested to see where you guys put this team. Votes are coming in, and okay, yeah, I'm with you on how these votes are coming in. This is definitely what I would have them under. It's going to be a very interesting team to watch next year for sure. But I'm in agreement with you guys on what a majority of you guys are thinking so far. We got 16 votes in. Over 50% right now are 9 or now 17 votes. 9 of the 17 votes. Oh, hang on, we got more coming in. All right, there you guys are still voting. I'm gonna let this one sit for a little bit. Make sure everyone gets their votes in. Yeah, I mean, Thatcher Demko is an extremely good goaltender. They have a strong roster on paper. No, I mean, there's potential with the Canucks, but they also have really disappointed the last couple of seasons as well. So, this is definitely an interesting team. All right, 22 votes are in. I'll give you guys about 10 more seconds here to get votes in, and then I'm going to cut it off with Vancouver and place them on the board. All right. Looks like everybody who's voted or who wants to vote has voted. And you guys have Vancouver on the playoff line. So we have Vancouver on the playoff line. And our final Pacific Division team that we are going to place now is another pretty interesting one, the Vegas Golden Knights. So that will be the last one here for the Pacific. Let me get the poll ready, and we will get right into that one to finish out the division. Whoops. Might want to spell Golden Knights correctly. Create, share, copy. Prosperous, hey, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you so much for coming by. Really appreciate it. Good to have you in the chat. Let's see. Hey, VA Dead Boy, what's going on? Welcome in. Thanks for coming by. D Wade, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Vegas poll is now linked in the chat, guys. Those last 3 links are for the Vegas poll. So let me know to close out the Pacific. Where do you guys have the Vegas Golden Knights for this coming season? Man, this is a lot of fun. I definitely want to do... I haven't done this particular stream before with, like, voting on tiers like this. Definitely want to do this before every season for sure now. This is a lot of fun. All right, we got 15 votes in. And it's a pretty tight battle right now, actually. Lucas, we're doing all 32 NHL teams. Yes, Shady Side. Bruce Cassidy is now the coach of the Golden Knights. Goaltending is definitely a problem now with Robin Lehner out for the year. That does put them in a tough spot goaltending wise. Yeah, it looks like Logan Thompson is probably going to be their starting goalie next season. So we'll see how that goes. All right, I'll give another 5 to 10 seconds to get any last-minute votes in, and then we'll be placing the Golden Knights. All right, this was a pretty tight one, but you guys have ultimately decided that Vegas is on the playoff line. So they go right there with Vancouver. And that finishes out the Pacific Division. Hey, thank you so much, Samantha. Really, really appreciate it. All right, so that finishes out the Pacific Division, everybody. You have the Edmonton Oilers as a cup contender. You have the Flames and the Kings as playoff teams. You have Vancouver and Vegas on the playoff line. And Anaheim, San Jose, and Seattle not making the playoffs. So that is what your votes have, how your votes have gone in the Pacific. We will now move to the Central Division and finish out the Western Conference. I certainly hope so, Wilson. Certainly hope so for sure. But Samantha, thank you so much for subscribing. Really, really appreciate it. Everybody, let's welcome Samantha to the channel. Thank you so much. And for everyone watching, if you happen to be new, please hit that subscribe button. It does help out a lot. Hit that thumbs up button on the stream as well. It really does make a big difference for the channel. And fans of all teams are welcome and wanted here. I cover the entire NHL all season long, all year round. Lots of hockey content coming your way. So thank you guys so much for the support. We are moving on now to the Central Division. And we're going to be starting things off with the Arizona Coyotes. They'll be playing in a college rink next season. It's going to be interesting for sure, but I think I know where Arizona is going, but obviously we got to do the poll, see if you guys agree with me, and we'll get this up in the chat. Whoops. Share copy. Poll is linked in the chat, everybody, and you guys get to vote on Arizona. I certainly think that they're going to be in much more contention for the first overall pick than they will be for a playoff spot, but we'll see if you guys agree. Yeah, Nick says Frozen 4 contender. Yeah, no, that's true. They probably would be a contender if they actually played college teams, but in the NHL, yeah, no, this team's definitely a ways away. Hey, Pit Stop Productions, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. Alex, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for watching. Good to have you here. Fire Strike, what is going on? Welcome in. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. Yeah, this one is an absolute runaway. I'm not even going to waste any more of your time. If you haven't voted yet and still want to vote, the poll's open, but I'm not going to spend more time on this. Yeah, almost all of the votes are coming in for Arizona as a non-playoff team, which is very much expected. Yeah, it's going to be a tough year. So that gets the Coyotes in there. Yeah, because that's the poll that we're doing, Pablo. Okay, next up, another team that I don't think is in a very good spot personally and is openly tanking, the Chicago Blackhawks. So I will get the poll going, and then I'll drop it in the chat so you guys can get your votes in on Chicago as well. I mean, they did open. Kyle Davidson did openly say that they're pretty much tanking. So I think that kind of puts Chicago in a certain spot. But we'll see what you guys think. Hey, there you go, Samantha. That is awesome. This live stream is going to go until we get through all the teams, and then that will be it. So I'm not exactly sure how long this stream will be. It's just going to go until we get through all 32 teams. All right, 12 votes are in. This one is also looking like a complete runaway. Yeah. I'll give you guys another couple minutes here to, or minutes, a few seconds, 5 to 10 seconds to get any last minute votes in. And then, yeah. I mean, literally all but one vote has Chicago as a non-playoff team. And I certainly agree with that. They are not making the playoffs. That team is tanking very purposely to try and get a top 3 pick in this year's draft. Okay. Yeah, it is pretty funny, Fire Strike. That complete shift in what they're trying to do here now with Davidson and his GM. Let's see. Kevin, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm from Massachusetts, Samantha. I'm from Massachusetts. All right, Colorado next on the list. We'll see how this goes. This is going to be interesting. Defending Stanley Cup champions. And they brought back a lot of players from last year's team. They also did lose a few, most notably Darcy Kemper in goal, no longer with the Avs. They now have a Alex Georgiev and Pavel Francouz goaltending tandem, which I don't think personally is going to be as good as Kemper, but we'll see. And they have a great team in front of them. So we'll see what Georgiev can do in a bigger role with the Avs than he ever had in New York. Polls in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about Colorado, defending champs. And certainly high expectations going into this season. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one at the top here. We have a tie right now at the top. 15 votes in. We have a tie at the top. Roger, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Well, Xanafy, that's not where they voted the Ducks. This is completely based on how these get voted. So they voted, the audience at the time who voted the Ducks as a non-playoff team. All right. I'll give you guys another 10 or so seconds here, but it looks like this team has found its home. And, yeah. We can put the Avalanche in their rightful spot. We got 19 votes in. Any last second votes, get them in now. I just don't want to change the ultimate outcome. All right. Looks like that is going to be it. Not surprised. Cup favorite. First team to go in the Cup favorite category is the Colorado Avalanche, the defending Stanley Cup champions. So, obviously, that makes quite a bit of sense. Oh, I got you, Xanified. Yeah. No, I think me too. I would have the Ducks closer to that playoff line, but it is what it is. At the mercy of the vote. Yeah, it's gonna be tight, Wilson, for sure. I do too. I hope they can make it. Yeah, I mean, losing Kadri is definitely big. Losing Kemper as goaltender is definitely a loss. Abe Kubel, Jack Johnson, those are depth guys that I don't think really play that big of an impact. Burakovsky's a middle six loss for sure, but he's a guy that I think maybe an expanded role for Alexander Newhook can kind of replace Burakovsky. Kadri and Kemper are the big losses for Colorado for sure. Anyway, next on the list now, we've got the Dallas Stars. This is going to be another very interesting team. I'm interested to see what you guys think about Dallas. So we'll get that one going up in the chat here. This is a team that is so tough to gauge a lot of the time. Like sometimes they look really good, sometimes they look really bad, sometimes they look in the middle. Like it kind of, they go on these really inconsistent streaks from time to time. There makes it a pretty tough team. They did make the playoffs last year. They lost to Calgary in round number 1, but it was a 7-game series. It was very, very close against the Flames last year in the playoffs for Dallas. And they did lose John Klingberg to free agency, but you know, they brought in Mason Marchment, and this is going to be an interesting team. They have a new coach as well, with Pete DeBoer taking over. So let's see. I will wait as these votes roll in on what you guys think about the Dallas Stars. Yes, Wilson. Andrei Vasilevsky, I think, is more than a pretty good goaltender. He is arguably the best goaltender in the league, and certainly top 3 without question. All right, this is what I expected for Dallas, and also where I personally put the Dallas Stars. And yeah, this is a pretty runaway vote here. I'll give you guys another 5 to 10 seconds if anyone new in wants to get a last second vote cast. But yeah, this one's looking pretty agreed upon here for the most part. 10 of the 17 votes have Dallas on the playoff line, which is also where I would rank the Stars as well. So there we go. Stars are placed, playoff line team. I think they could be a wild card team again like last year, or maybe they get maybe they end up missing by a little bit. I don't think they'll be like way out of a playoff spot, but I do think they could miss by a little bit potentially. Stu, what's going on? Bubsy, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. Good to have you. Next up here is the Minnesota Wild. All right, so we're going to be voting on Mini now. I'll get the poll up. And we'll see. Minnesota had a very... Whoops. A very strong season last year, but I don't think have had the best off season. So are we going to see them be as good again, or are they going to take a step back this off season or this coming season? They haven't really done much to get any better, but they were really good last year. It's going to be interesting. Minnesota is going to be an interesting team this season. We'll see how what you guys feel about them as the votes come in here. So poll is up in the chat. Click that straw poll link, get your votes in, and we'll see where you guys place the Minnesota Wild for 2022-2023. Let's go Bruins. What's going on? Welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate it. All right, you guys, okay. Honestly, I am a little surprised here. I thought we were going to get more votes than this for playoff line, but you guys are feeling pretty good about Minnesota here. So it looks like we're not really expecting a big drop off from last season. Maybe a little drop off, but definitely not a big one. We got 20 votes in. 11 of them have Minnesota as a playoff team. I'll give another 5 or so seconds to getting last second votes in, and then we'll place the Wild. All right. Looks like they're staying right there. So Minnesota making the playoffs again, just like they did last year, according to your votes. They still have Fleury, Lucas. Fleury's still their goaltender. Hey, Vaughn, what is going on? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. All right, next on the list, the Nashville Predators. This Central Division is definitely going to have some tight battles this year as these teams vie for playoff spots. Nashville did make the playoffs last season, but got absolutely destroyed by the Colorado Avalanche in round number 1. However, they did not have their starting goaltender. UC Saros was injured, did not play in the playoffs, and that certainly played a role in Nashville getting just crushed the way that they did. Saros is a very, very good goaltender when he's healthy, and Nashville's made some additions this offseason. They added Ryan McDonough to that D-core. They signed Nino Niederreiter as a free agent. They brought back Philip Forsberg as well. So this is gonna be it's gonna be an interesting year for Nashville. Poll is in the chat now, guys. Get your votes in. Can't wait to see where you guys place the Preds. All right, 14 votes in. We got 27 in the chat, though, so I'll give you guys some more time to get your votes in. Again, this is, your vote counts. This is up to you guys where these teams go. I have no say in it. It's going strictly over which tier gets the most votes. And, all right, looks like you guys are in on the Preds this season. I'll give another 5 or 10 seconds or so to getting last-second votes in. Just click the link in the chat, and pick which tier. And you guys definitely have the Predators making the playoffs. Wow. 55%, 10 of the 18 votes are for playoff team. And second place is actually cup contender. So not only do you guys have them making the playoffs, but a number of you think that they can contend as well. So playoff team there for the Predators. And there we go. Okay, continuing along now with the Central Division, we have the St. Louis Blues, another team that had a very strong season last year. Haven't made a lot of changes this offseason, but really didn't need to because they had such a good year last year. They didn't want to change it up too much. St. Louis. Let's see what you guys think about the Blues. Are they better, worse, right about the same? See what tier you guys put them in. Link is going in the chat right now. Honestly, Samantha, I was just kind of trying to find something that sounded, catchy, had a flow to it. And also, kind of, was hockey related. So like off the wall, I thought of like throwing the puck off the boards and out of the zone, like off the wall and out, defenseman clearing the puck. So it was like off the wall hockey, and like that has a good flow to it, and was, had, thought that it could make a good logo with that and stuff. So it was kind of just trying to find something catchy. Ooh, all right. This is a great vote going on right now. A great poll right now. I'm going to give some more time for more votes to come in because this one's pretty darn close. You guys are conflicted on the Blues. There are a number of you that have them as a cup contender, a number of you that have them as a playoff team, and a really more than I thought number of you that have them on the playoff line as well. So this is a very interesting vote that is very spread out right now. So I'm going to give some more time for these votes to come in. I think the Blues are probably the second best team in the division, personally. I think they're the second best team in the Central. But that's just me, and this is based on what you think. Whoa, we got a tie. Through 20 votes, we've got a tie at the top. We've got a tie at the top, which means somebody's going to have to break it. 20 votes are in. All right, any last second votes? I'm going to give you guys 10 more seconds. Come on, somebody vote who hasn't yet. 21 votes. 5, 4, 3. Okay, votes are coming in now to finish it out. Playoff team. Okay, so you guys have voted the St. Louis Blues to be a playoff team in the Central Division. All right, so our last team now to close out the Central, the Winnipeg Jets. So I will get the poll up for that one, and we will see what you guys think about the Winnipeg Jets. Very disappointing season last year for Winnipeg. Their roster really isn't bad on paper. It's not a bad roster on paper, but they were really, really disappointing last season. And we'll see if that happens again this year, or if they're able to turn things around. But anyway, polls linked in the chat. Get your votes in, everybody. And we'll get this one going here. Smooth Smoker, what's going on? Welcome in. LePager, welcome in. Avs fan, welcome. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. See what your votes are coming in here. We got 16 votes in so far. And it's a pretty tight one right now, so I'm going to give some more time. Going to give some more time here. This team like has the potential to be good, but it has their roster on paper is not bad, but they also have a bad problem with severely underperforming at times, and we saw that last year, and I think it's definitely possible that that happens again this season. Amber, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for watching. Awesome to have you. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for coming by. So this is the last team to close out the Central Division. Then we will be done with the Western Conference. And, of course, we have a tie at the top. Oh, boy. We got a tie at the top here. All right. Somebody's got to break it. We got a 7-7 tie in votes at the top here. Somebody who hasn't voted yet. We've got over 30 in the chat. So all you guys have to do is click the straw poll link. Get your vote in. Once somebody breaks this, I'm going to roll with it. All right. Oh, we got a couple more votes come in for playoff line. Okay. That's where we're going to put the Jets in. 9 votes to 7. Oh, now 10 votes to 7. And 5 for playoff team. 10 votes for playoff line, 7 for non-playoff team, and 5 for playoff team. Another team that is kind of all over the place, but overall playoff line wins. Again, like they have potential to make it, but they just underperform so often that it makes it really hard to trust the Jets. So we'll lock them in there. So that finishes out the Western Conference, everybody. That finishes out the Western Conference. The only team from the West that you guys listed as a Cup favorite were the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche. You have the Edmonton Oilers as a Cup contender. Oh, whoops. I put Winnipeg in the wrong spot. That's my bad. Whoops. Winnipeg belongs down there. That was dumb. I fixed it. Playoff teams, you've got Calgary, LA, Minnesota, Nashville, and St. Louis. On that playoff line, you've got Vancouver, Vegas, Dallas, and Winnipeg. And then non-playoff teams, we have Anaheim, San Jose, Seattle, Chicago, and Arizona, which, yeah, I mean, those teams are all unlikely to make the playoffs. So now we're going to move things on to the Eastern Conference. And we're going to start in the Metro Division. I think the Eastern Conference is going to be wildly competitive this year. There's a lot of good teams. And it's going to be very, very tough to make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference because I think there's certainly more than 8 teams capable of making the playoffs. So let's get ready here. Before we start, I just want to remind everyone that it really does mean a lot if you can hit that subscribe button and thumbs up button if you haven't yet. It helps the channel a ton. And fans of all NHL teams are welcome and wanted here. I cover the entire league, so we'd love to have you become part of the channel community and just enjoy, you know, the content as much as you can. So here we go. Eastern Conference. We are going to be starting in the Metro. First in the Metro, the Carolina Hurricanes. I'm trying to make these logos smaller so they all fit, but I might need to make them smaller still. I didn't really know like how much space each one was going to take up, so might have to make some adjustments as we go along here to the logo sizes here on the screen, but let's get started here with Carolina. Carolina, definitely an interesting team. Some big moves this offseason. Lost some players, brought in some other players. Brent Burns goes there. Paul Stastny goes there, who very kind of underratedly had a 45-point season last year with Winnipeg and had over 20 goals. So I actually think Stastny is a nice add to that roster. This is going to be a fun team, I think, to watch, and a very interesting team next year. Brind'Amour, since he's become coach, has done a very good job with them, and we'll see what they're able to do. Yeah, Pacioretty as well. Unfortunately, he's going to miss, you know, a good portion of the front half of the season. But if he can come back later in the year, say like March or so, you know, if he comes back and, you know, for the important part of the season at the end, and then for the playoffs, obviously, he could be a big-time contributor as well. Okay. Very spread out vote on this team. And we also, as of right now, still have a tie at the top. And now we're starting to break that. All right. Let's get some more votes in, get this tie broken. All right, guys. Oh, wow, we're still tied. We only have 17 votes, though, so don't forget to click that straw poll and get your votes in, because every vote does matter here, especially in this one. We've got a tie at the top right now. Somebody's got to break it. I don't want to have to come in and play a tiebreaker role like I'm the vice president or something. Like somebody's got to get a vote in here that hasn't voted yet and break this tie. Yes, Max Pacioretty is now a Carolina Hurricane, Shady Side. Unfortunately, though, he got injured this offseason with a torn Achilles and is going to miss a good portion of next year. But he should be able to come back in the second half of the season at some point, and then will definitely be there for the playoffs for Carolina. All right, I'll give 5 to 10 more seconds for any last-second votes that come in, but right now we have a tier picked out by 1 vote for this team. So, all right, I'm closing the voting. You guys, by 1 vote, have put the Carolina Hurricanes as a playoff team. He was 1 vote away from being a cup contender. I personally think that they're a cup contender, but by 1 vote, they get put in the playoff team category. So, there we go. Let's see. Zach, what is going on? Welcome. Run with Kings. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Good. Thanks for being in the stream. Thanks for coming by. All right, next on the list, talk about a team that's had an off season. The Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm going to be interested to see what you guys think about Columbus. Because obviously they were able to land Johnny Gaudreau in what was ended up being a huge surprise. But he goes to the Jackets. They also get Patrick Laine re-signed. Unfortunately for them, they had to trade away Oliver Bjorkstrand to do it, who had 28 goals last year. But they were able to re-sign Laine, assuming Laine and Gaudreau play on the same line now. That's going to be a dynamic duo right there. I'm very interested to see where you guys put Columbus. Texier, that was announced today that Alexander Texier will not be playing in Columbus this year. He's gone back to Europe, and for personal reasons, will not be playing with the Jackets. So they lost him out of that lineup as well. See how this one goes. Luke Zillow, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Well, we're on the Metro Division right now. Atlantic Division will be coming up after the Metro, so probably 15 or so minutes if I had to guess, Luke, but I'm not entirely sure. Depends on how quickly we get through the Metro. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting team. Like, I think they could maybe get in, like maybe get a wild card spot, but I feel like they're probably not likely to. I think they might be just a little bit out of the playoffs. You guys overwhelmingly have them right now on playoff line, and I 100% agree with that. I would be voting playoff line as well, personally. I absolutely have them maybe getting in as a wild card team, but probably not. But I don't think they're going to be down at the bottom with teams that are vying for the first overall pick or anything. I would have too run with Kings. I personally would have as well, but that is not how the voting went. So next up here, we've got the New Jersey Devils. Next team on the list here in the Metro. And I will get that poll going. New Jersey Devils. This is another young team that has been rebuilding for a few years now. Well, it's actually been quite a while for the Devils. They've been rebuilding quite a bit, but they only have one playoff appearance since 2012, and that was when Taylor Hall had his MVP season. Was that 2018, I think, with New Jersey? So they haven't really been in the playoffs at all recently, and you know, they've got some young talent there, some up-and-coming players for sure, but I'm not sure if they're ready to actually be a playoff team yet. I still think they might be another couple years away. Because that's the way the voting went, Firestrike. It seems like the not sold on the Hurricanes this season. Kendra, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Blackhawks fan, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you so much for watching. Good to have you in the chat. Yeah, Kevin, I do want to say Philly, but we haven't voted on Philly yet, so I didn't want to mention them until after the voting was done because I didn't want to influence the votes. Hey, just subbed. What's going on? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Awesome to have you in the chat. Really appreciate it. All right, 20 votes are in. This one is overwhelming. 15 of the 20 votes have New Jersey not making the playoffs. I agree. I think, especially in this division, which is a very, very difficult Metro, New Jersey is not ready yet to be a playoff team, in my opinion. So we'll move them into their spot. And next up now, we've got the New York Islanders. So we're headed into the New York teams here. And I will get the new poll linked in the chat for everybody. Islanders went to back-to-back conference finals in 2020 and 2021 and then missed the playoffs last year in what was a very, very disappointing season for New York. They haven't really done anything in the offseason. You know, their biggest signings were re-signings. Noah Dobson coming back. They did trade for Alexander Romanov. That was definitely their biggest move of the offseason. And then they got him signed. So it's largely the same group coming back for the Isles, but they didn't miss the playoffs by a ton last year, but they did end up on the outside looking in. I know definitely where I have the Islanders in my mind, but again, this is up to your votes, so we will get to see. Hey, Cap, what's going on? Welcome in. Aiden, welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Good to see you guys in the chat. Thanks so much for coming by. Awesome to have you. All right. I'm going to give a little bit more time here. We still have some votes coming in. We've got 18 in so far. Looks like you guys have this team's tier picked out. Yeah, another vote just came in. 20 are in now. All right, yeah. This one's not close. Definitely putting the Isles on that playoff line, which is where they were last year. You know, they didn't miss the playoffs by a ton, but they did end up on the outside. And it's going to be interesting to see if they can have a bounce-back season or if they are disappointing again. Let's see. All right, next up here, we have the other New York team, the New York Rangers. Obviously, a very strong regular season for them last year, a strong run in the playoffs as well. And New York showed a lot of promise, certainly a team on the upswing that has a lot of good pieces in place. And high expectations now heading into this season. Very high expectations for New York. A lot of pressure on this team to kind of repeat the success that they had last year. I think Toronto is a very good team in the regular season, green cam. but I do not trust them one bit in the playoffs. But I think they're a good regular season team for sure. So votes are coming in here on the New York Rangers. It's linked in the chat. Get your voice heard. Your vote does matter. And can't wait to see what you guys think of the Rangers this year. Shesterkin in goal obviously was unbelievable last season. Not sure if he'll be able to put up those kind of numbers again. But boy, if he does, look out, because he was certainly the best goaltender last season on just a 1-year sample size. But we'll see if he can repeat that performance. Even if he comes back to earth a little bit, he's still going to be a top 3 goalie and a Vezina contender this season, even if his numbers take a slight dip from where they were last year. And yeah, you guys over 60% overwhelmingly in on the New York Rangers being a contender this year. And I'll give another 5 or 10 seconds if anyone wants to get a last second vote in, but this one looks pretty decided, to say the least. You guys have New York as a cup contender. I do as well. They're a very good hockey team, and they absolutely, I believe, will be in contention again this season. All right, we got 3 more teams to go in the Metro Division, and then we move on to the Atlantic. The first of those 3 remaining teams are the Philadelphia Flyers. Because, well, I just lined them up in alphabetical order by division. So there's no like other order to this or anything. It's just alphabetical. So Philadelphia comes next. I think I know where this is going. I certainly know where I have this team. But we'll see what you guys think. Poll coming up in the chat. Let's see. Kyle, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Good to see you in the chat. All right, we'll see how these votes are going. Yeah, I'm not even going to spend any more time on this. 16 votes are already in, and over 80%. Yeah, this isn't even remotely close. The Philadelphia Flyers will not be in the playoffs this coming season. Philly is a non-playoff team for sure. And I 1000% agree with you. It's going to be a tough year in Philly. They need to go into a full-on rebuild at this point. So that brings us now to Pittsburgh, in what I think in a very different situation than the Philadelphia Flyers. They're cross-state rivals. But we'll see what you guys think about the Penguins this year. I know we got a lot of Penguins fans on this channel. A number of them are in the chat tonight as well. So very interested to see how this one goes. But well, they've got to get rid of a lot of players, Kevin, and they also certainly need to get rid of Chuck Fletcher. I mean, he is certainly one of the worst GMs in the league, and maybe the worst right now. All right, so let's see what you guys think about Pittsburgh this coming season. They've had an interesting offseason. They did get Evgeny Malkin and Chris Letang re-signed. They also re-signed Ricard Raquel, who they added at the deadline last year. They're running it back with a lot of the same team up front. However, they did make some changes on the back end. They brought in Ty Smith. They brought in Jeff Petrie, but they lost John Marino and they lost Mike Matheson. So there's been some changes for the Penguins, mostly on the defensive side of things. They're going to be an interesting team this year. I think they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think we're going to see that big of a drop-off in Pittsburgh, if one at all. Poll is linked in the chat. Straw poll in the chat. And, ooh, all right. A lot of votes in on this one. 2 votes separating the top 2 choices right now. So I'm gonna give another 10 or so seconds for any more votes to come in. And then I will draw the line and place them. All right. You guys have voted the Pittsburgh Penguins as a playoff team for this coming season in the NHL. So Pittsburgh goes to the playoff team line, and they are locked in. And that leaves 1 team left for the Metro division, and that obviously is the Washington Capitals. And Washington... It's going to be interesting to see what the Caps do this year. Nicholas Backstrom, unlikely to play. He has a lingering hip problem that has become a major issue for him. They also will be without Tom Wilson for the first part of the year because he tore his ACL in the playoffs last year. So they're going to be down a couple key players, but they did bring in Dylan Strome to try and be that second-line center. And... they lost Justin Schultz off the back end as well, although he wasn't playing a super prominent role for them. Washington's going to be an interesting team. They now do... Big move was goaltending. Completely new goaltending for the Capitals. Darcy Kemper comes over from Colorado, fresh off a Stanley Cup win. They also brought in Charlie Lindgren to be the backup. Very limited NHL experience there. Samsonov is now in Toronto. Vanacek's now in New Jersey. So they made some changes there. They brought in Connor Brown in a trade with Ottawa. It's kind of been an interesting offseason for the Capitals. So we'll see what you guys think. I'm literally just going off the top of my head. As far as what moves they made. I'm sure I'm probably forgetting one maybe, but it's going to be interesting to see. Okay. All right. This poll is pretty one-sided, with most of you putting them on the playoff line. So we'll put the Caps in that playoff line spot. So you guys are higher on the Penguins than the Capitals, and given the current situations for both teams, I do agree with you on that. I think Pittsburgh's better than Washington right now. The Caps, I do think the Caps end up making the playoffs this year, but I do think it's going to be close. It's going to be barely. So I would count them as a line team, I guess, as well. So anyway, that brings us now to our last division. I'm kind of running out of room here on the board, so I might have to overlap some of these logos. But we're to our last division, and it is the Atlantic. And this is going to be, in my opinion, an extremely hard-fought division this year. An absolute dogfight, because I think even the teams in the Atlantic that haven't been good the last few years have made improvements, particularly Ottawa and Detroit. So they're, I think, a lot better than they were the past few. They're going to be a lot better than they were last year, like significantly better. So that's going to make this Atlantic very, very tough. Buffalo, I also think, is improving as well. Maybe not quite to the same degree, but definitely getting better. This is going to be fun. First up, from the Atlantic, we have the Boston Bruins. Have not done much this offseason. Their only real big change they made was trading Eric Haula for Pavel Zacha. And then other than that, they just re-signed Patrice Bergeron, and they brought back David Krejci after a year away playing in Europe. Who knows how that's going to work out. Boston's going to be an interesting team this year. We'll see what you guys think of them. I certainly have my doubts. But we'll see what you guys think. It's the one last hurrah year for the Bruins. Also, Charlie McAvoy and Brad Marchand are going to miss the first part of the season with injuries. So that's another thing that has me really concerned, is that Boston's going to really struggle early in the year without Marchand and without McAvoy. And I think they'll be more of a playoff level team when those guys come back. But if they're not back until, Christmas time in December, then you could already dig yourself a massive hole by that point in the season. So this is going to be a very interesting team. I personally have them on the playoff line. I think they could be a wild card team, but I also would not be surprised if they missed out by, by a spot or two from the playoffs either. So to me, I have them on the line personally. And let's see, we got 23 votes in here. 2 votes separating the top 2 right now. I will give another 10 seconds or so for any last second votes to come in. And that is going to do it. 11 votes to 8, separating the 3 votes separating the top 2. You guys have voted the Boston Bruins to be on the playoff line for this coming season. How many left, Samantha? Now with Boston done, 7. It's just the rest of the Atlantic Division, and that's it. Centify, what's going on? Welcome in. And that is not how this works. The teams go where they are voted, and that is where Washington was voted, so I am not moving them anywhere. Yoshi Bros, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Awesome to have you in the chat. Next up, we got the Buffalo Sabres. So let's see what you guys think about Buffalo. I think Buffalo's getting better, but I don't think they're there yet. But I do think they are showing signs of improvement. Let's see. Straw poll is up in the chat. Get your votes in. Sherry, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for coming by. Awesome to see you in the chat. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, this one's an absolute runaway. This one, only now 14 votes. Yeah, this is an absolute runaway. I'll let the votes keep rolling in, but almost all of you have Buffalo in the same tier. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. They're showing signs of life and getting a little bit better, but they are not going to make the playoffs. So we'll put them there. All right, now we get to a very interesting one, because I think they've had one of the best off seasons in the entire NHL. They're a team on the upswing. It's just, are they a year or two away, or can they be there right now? That's the big question heading into this season, and this is the Detroit Red Wings. Very interested to see how you guys rate the Wings here, because, man, they've done a lot of good things this offseason, but are they ready, or is it still going to be a year or two? The Yzer plan is definitely making this team better, but are they playoff level right now? Let's see. So we'll get the poll up in the chat. This is going to be a fun one for sure. Poll is up in the chat. Let's see where you guys put the Wings. All right, we got 20 votes in already. We've got 20 votes in. We've got a 2-vote difference at the top right. 1-vote difference at the top right now. This is turning into a real battle here. Oh boy. All right. 23 votes are in. The top tier, most voted tier has 10. The second most voted has 9. That is the battle right now. Another vote just came in, making it 11-9. I'll give 10 seconds more or so for you guys to put any last-second votes in, and then closing it off. All right, by a very, very slim margin, you guys do not think Detroit is ready to be a playoff team just yet and have them as a non-playoff. So it was very close to playoff line, but ultimately non-playoff ends up winning. Yoshi Bros, October 11th, I believe. October 11th has the Rangers and Lightning play, as well as, I think it's Vegas and LA, if I'm not mistaken. Or there's only 2 games on the 11th, but that's like the opening night. All right, next up, we've got Florida. President's Trophy winning team last year, had the most points in the NHL. Definitely lost some pieces this offseason, though. Didn't look great in the playoffs, but again, this is for the regular season, so playoff performance isn't that big of a factor. We'll see. Let's see what you guys think about Florida. I certainly don't think that they're going to win the President's Trophy again, but I do think that they're a good hockey team. Yes, they do, Logan. That's on like October 6th or 7th or something. Yeah, they play over in Europe, but yeah, the rest of the league is still all going to be playing preseason games at that time. Yeah, those games start earlier because they're over in Europe, Yoshi Bros. That's like part of like the global series and stuff. So, yeah, it's gonna be those games will be before the regular season starts for anybody else, and then they have to travel back, and get ready for the normal at-home regular season. All right, wow, we have a 3-way tie with 5 votes each through the first 15 votes. Let's get some more votes in here so we can break the tie. This is a very, very close one. This is a very, very close one right now. We need some more votes in. Only 17 votes so far. We got over 30 in the chat. Let's get voting. All right, see you later, James. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Have a great night. Thank you so much for coming by. Wow. 7 votes to 6 votes to 5 votes with the top 3 tiers right now. Oh boy, this is so close. All right, I'm going to give another 10 seconds or so for any last minute votes, and then right now we have a 2-vote lead, now a 3-vote lead. Okay, it's starting to go in one direction here. Yeah. Okay. That's going to be enough. By 2 votes, you guys have put the Florida Panthers as a playoff team for this coming season. So we will throw Florida in there. I need more space. Oh, well. I'll just start overlapping some of them. It's the best I can do. So Florida, you guys have as a playoff team. Next on the list, we have the worst team from this division last season, the Montreal Canadiens. They did get the #1 overall pick in the draft. They drafted Juraj Slafkovsky and have made some other changes as well this offseason. We'll see what you guys think about Montreal as I get this up in the chat. All right. Poll is linked in the chat, everybody. You guys can get your votes in on where you think the Canadiens are for this coming season. And we'll see how the voting goes as the votes start to pile in here. Definitely interested to see. Oh, wow. Okay, this one's an absolute blowout. I'm not even going to spend any more time on it. This one is an absolute blowout. And you guys have the Montreal Canadiens right where they can stay right where they are, a non-playoff team for this coming season. So you guys have them in that bottom tier as well. Patrick, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. Yeah, not having Carey Price in goal is definitely going to hurt Montreal. You know, I don't think a Jake Allen, Sam Montembeault goaltending duo is going to get them to the playoffs. All right, next up, we've got the Ottawa Senators. We've got Ottawa now. And this is another team that has had a very big offseason. They've made some huge changes, gotten some great pieces, added Alex DeBrincat in the trade with Chicago. They signed Claude Giroux. Jake Sanderson is going to be coming into that blue line now, so hopefully he can help with some of their defensive issues, particularly in their top four. Cam Talbot as well now going to be the goaltender. Ottawa's made a lot of improvements this year. Ottawa's a team that I am not looking forward to playing against as a Bruins fan, because I think they are going to put up a really good fight in the Atlantic this season. Let's see how you guys vote the Sens this year. Let's see. Hey, Nate DeGreat, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Awesome to have you in the stream. Thanks so much for watching. All right, we got 19 votes in. This one also 21 votes now in. Both very fairly agreed upon here with this team being on the playoff line. And those of you, most of you that don't have them on the playoff line actually have them as a playoff team. So, good looks here for the Ottawa Senators and how you guys think of them this season. We're putting them up there on the playoff line with 63% of the vote. And again, Ottawa is going to be a much improved team this season. Jay Stoobs, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you so much for the dono. Let's get that dono hype in the chat. Dropping a 7 on the stream. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Really appreciate it. Yes, Matt Murray is now with the Leafs, just subbed. Thank you so much, Jay Stoobs. Much appreciated. But unfortunately, no, you cannot pay to have the votes changed. The final rankings are completely based on how the audience as a whole votes. All right, so next up here, Ottawa is locked in on that playoff line. We've got the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were in the finals last season for the third straight year. However, they did lose this time after winning two in a row. They lost to the Avs last season, and they're going to be trying once again to contend for a Stanley Cup. We'll see if you guys think they can do it. They did lose Andre Palat in free agency, and they've signed some big contracts this offseason. But a lot of their core is still in place, and a lot of their top players are still very much top players for the Lightning. So it's a team that probably is going to be very good again this season. And votes are starting to pile in now. And Yes. I think it will be decent goaltending, Yoshi Bros. I don't know if it will be better necessarily. I think it will be decent goaltending, but again, it's gonna come down to what can they do in the playoffs, you know? Because I fully expect Toronto to be very good in the regular season again. It's just, can they finally get over that hump in the playoffs? So. All right, I'll give another 10 seconds or so for any last-second votes. This one's kind of close, only 3 votes separating the top 2 right now, so I will give a little bit of time if anyone who hasn't voted wants to get one in, because your vote will matter for sure. And then we'll place the Lightning. Okay, you guys have voted and have the Tampa Bay Lightning as a cup contender again for this coming season, which I believe they are as well. It's a tough team to doubt in the playoffs, that is for sure. All right, and wow, it brings us to our last one. Our last team now is the Toronto Maple Leafs. This ought to be fun. We have one more to go here, and I will get this up in the chat as quickly as possible. Whoops, I might want to spell the name right. I didn't realize that we were down to the end that quickly. We kind of ripped through the Atlantic Division here. But anyway, poll is linked in the chat. Let's see what you guys think about the Leafs this coming season. I know that for me personally, I think that they're going to be fine and very good again in the regular season, as they have been for the last few years. I just don't trust them in the playoffs, but I think as far as the regular season's concerned, they should absolutely be in the playoffs. Hey, Kyle, what's going on? Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Tinted, what's going on? Welcome in. Thanks for coming by. Really, really appreciate it. All right. A good number of votes have come in so far. I'll give another 10 seconds or so if any last second votes want to come in that haven't voted yet. We've got 20 so far. That's been right around the amount of people that have been voting. So, and this one's not all that close, so I don't think anything's going to drastically change. Because with 11 votes to 4 and 1, so pretty by 7 votes at this point, you guys have selected the Toronto Maple Leafs to be a playoff team. Okay, and that does it. That is all 32 NHL teams now. That is all 32 teams now ranked, tiered up in tiers here for this coming 2022-2023 season. Catherine, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. All right. Have a good night, VA Dead Boy. Thank you so much for watching. Really, really appreciate it. Good to have you here. Thank you so much for watching. So this was solely based on your votes. I had no say on this. This is just whatever tier got the most votes. And, yeah, the poll was close for the Flames, Kyle. It was close to between playoff team and cup contender. But playoff team won by, like, a vote or two. Anyway, so I'm just going to kind of quickly roll through it, see what you guys think. I might do this video like myself, just to see where I would rank every team and see how it differs from you guys. I think that'd be a pretty cool video, but this is solely based on your votes. The only team that you guys put in Cup favorite are the Colorado Avalanche, the defending champions, but you have the Edmonton Oilers, New York Rangers, and Tampa Bay Lightning as Cup contenders. That's kind of funny because that's literally the Final Four from last year. Literally the conference finalists from last year are who you have in Cup favorites and Cup contenders. So I guess not much is expected to change as far as that is concerned. Playoff teams, you've got the Calgary Flames and LA Kings from the Pacific, the Minnesota Wild, Nashville Predators, and St. Louis Blues from the Central, the Hurricanes and Penguins from the Metro, and Florida Panthers and Toronto Maple Leafs from the Atlantic. On the playoff line, Western Conference playoff line, which means could get in as a wild card team potentially, maybe could end up on the outside looking in. Vancouver, Vegas, Dallas, and Winnipeg. And from the Eastern Conference, Columbus, the New York Islanders, Washington Capitals, Boston Bruins, and Ottawa Senators. And then your non-playoff teams, Anaheim, San Jose, Seattle, Arizona, Chicago, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Buffalo, Detroit, and Montreal. So that is how the final votes turned out. Some of these I would certainly have the same. Some of these I would definitely personally, if it was just up to me, have different. But again, I had no say in this. This was solely based on your voting, and that is the final product. So that is going to do it here for this stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining and voting and being a part of it. It was a lot of fun. I love doing interactive stuff like this because it's a lot of fun. Please don't forget, if you guys are heading out, to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you haven't yet. I cover the entire NHL, so fans of all teams are welcome and wanted here. And obviously, content is going to be picking up as we get closer to hockey season. I'll be streaming a ton again during the regular season. I'll be doing some preseason games. We're almost there. Hockey's getting closer. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys enjoyed this stream tonight. I like these interactive ones. We're going to do a very similar thing to this one, to this kind of stream for our predictions. So that will be closer to the start of the regular season, but I will be doing a subscriber-voted regular season predictions video as well, like we did last year. And I think we've done that the last 2 years, actually. So that will be coming up as well as we get closer to the season. Fantasy hockey, I also will be getting more into when we get closer to the start of the season, Yoshi Bros, because so that with the regular season starting on this, whenever those first Nashville San Jose games are in Europe, it will probably be like the very beginning of October, like probably within the first couple days of October. So yeah, that pretty much does it. Thank you guys again so much. Really appreciate it. And I'm not exactly sure when I'll be live streaming again, but it will hopefully be sometime relatively soon. And then game streams will be coming. Game streams will be coming quickly. Yeah. I mean, middle September, we get the prospect tournaments that a lot of teams play in. Preseason will start in the latter half of September, and then the regular season will start in October. So game streams are not that far away. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you guys all so much for the support. Hope you enjoyed tonight's stream, and I'll see you guys next time. And thank you again so much. Talk to you guys later.